Have I ever stood up from my favorite chair and felt like my legs forgot they were part of my body? Like for half a second, gravity had a glitch and my knees decided to throw a mini tantrum? I mean, come on. Stairs now feel like vertical hikes in the Alps. And walks? What used to be a peaceful stroll around the neighborhood now feels like a death march. I find myself checking my pulse like I just climbed Everest. I found out this isn't just what getting older feels like, it's actually something I can fix. And no, it doesn't involve squats, surgery, or swearing allegiance to some high-protein cult. Apparently, my legs didn't forget how to work. They just haven't been getting the message. Turns out the issue isn't with the muscle. It's with the Wi-Fi. Okay, not real Wi-Fi, but the messages my brain is supposed to send to my legs, it's like the signal is weak, and my body's walking around like it's stuck in a buffering loop. See, every time I stand, walk, or attempt a killer dance move in my kitchen, my brain sends a little electric message down the spinal superhighway to say, move it. But as the years roll on, those signals start to go fuzzy. They're slow, delayed, or completely ghosted. My muscles are ready, but the memo gets lost in the shuffle. So I had to become the tech support for my nervous system. And guess where I found the reboot button? My breakfast. That's right. My morning routine was basically sabotaging me. I used to just grab coffee and maybe a piece of toast like I was still 27 and invincible. But no, now I'm over here learning that eggs, yes, eggs, are like the sacred scrolls of leg revival. Let's talk about choline. This stuff is in egg yolks and it's like the power cord for acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter responsible for making muscles do stuff. Without it, I'm just thinking about moving, not actually doing it. It's the difference between wanting to dance and standing still while your brain DJs the party without you. So now, I wake up, and within 30 minutes, I'm throwing 2 whole eggs into a pan. I don't care if they're scrambled, boiled, poached, or turned into a Picasso. Those yolks are gold, literal gold. I even started sautéing spinach with them, which sounds way fancier than it is. I'm basically channeling my inner Gordon Ramsay in pajamas. And let's not forget the protein shake. Yeah, I became that person. Not because I'm trying to bulk up like a bodybuilder, but because I learned about leucine, the amino acid that's basically the personal trainer of my muscle cells. It tells them, wake up, we're working again. Problem is, as I got older, my body decided to become hard of hearing when it came to protein. I used to eat a chicken sandwich and feel fine. Now, I need 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein just to get my body's attention. So I got myself some whey protein isolate. It sounds scientific, but really, it's just a scoop of powder in water or almond milk. Done. And it doesn't taste like drywall anymore, I promise. When I started doing this, eggs, greens, protein, I noticed something. My legs stopped feeling like they were filled with mashed potatoes. They started responding quicker. I wasn't bracing myself every time I got out of the car like I was about to get shot in an action movie. It was subtle at first, but the strength started creeping back in. Now let's talk about my love-hate relationship with beets. Beets are weird. They look like they belong in a vegetable horror movie, and they stain everything like a toddler with a Sharpie. But wow, do they work. Beets are full of nitrates. Not the bad processed kind. The good kind that my body turns into nitric oxide, which basically tells my blood vessels to open up and send fresh oxygen and nutrients right down to my legs. It's like turning on the sprinklers after a long drought. My muscles perked up like a wilted plant finally seeing rain. I started drinking beet juice about an hour before my walks. And let me tell you, those walks went from waddle to warrior. I didn't expect to feel like Wonder Woman on a power stroll, but there I was, marching around the neighborhood like I was training for the Senior Olympics. And you know what? I didn't stop there. I added dark leafy greens to the mix. Kale, mustard greens, spinach, whatever was on sale. These leafy legends are anti-inflammatory superheroes. They helped quiet down the aches and pains that weren't from overexertion, but from that silent inflammation that builds up as we age. I didn't even have to eat them like a rabbit, I just cooked them in olive oil with my eggs or tossed them into smoothies. I even got fancy and added walnuts and a little lemon juice. Suddenly, breakfast felt less like survival and more like a health spa for my legs. Now here's where it gets even better, because apparently my legs aren't just fans of food, they're straight up divas. They also want perfect lighting, mood music, and excellent blood flow. Yup, turns out blood flow is the underrated hero of strength. And mine? Let's just say it needed a little motivation. When circulation slows down, especially in the legs, it's like trying to water a garden with a hose that's kinked in 5 places. I could be eating all the right things, doing my stretches like a yoga YouTuber, but if the oxygen isn't getting to my muscles, it's like trying to start a car with no gas. This is where my romance with beet juice really took off. Yes, the same juice that looks like it belongs in a crime scene. 1 cup, just 8 to 10 ounces. About an hour before my walks, and I swear it's like my blood vessels threw open the windows and said, "Let's party! Nitric oxide, baby!" That's the molecule behind the magic. Beets are loaded with nitrates, which my body converts into nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is basically like the traffic cop that tells my arteries to chill and widen up. More space, more blood, more oxygen. My legs finally acting like they remembered they're supposed to carry me through life. And the studies back me up. Apparently, researchers gave beet juice to older folks and watched them turn into walking powerhouses within hours. Not weeks, hours. Faster reaction time, better stair climbing, improved chair standing. You know, important stuff. The kind of everyday moves that say, I've still got it. I didn't just feel stronger, I felt sharper, calmer. Beet juice didn't just fuel my legs, it lifted the fog off my brain. It was like someone turned the lights back on. I wasn't expecting that bonus, but hey, I'll take clear thoughts with my stronger thighs, thanks. Now, just to be clear, I'm not drinking beet juice and running marathons. I'm not even speed walking, but I'm moving. Steady, confident, and not dreading the idea of standing up from the couch like it's a full-body workout. And when I added that little walk right after my beet shot, whoa, that combo hit different. Which brings me to the routine I didn't know I needed, the morning reboot. This is now my gold standard playbook. I wake up, throw down a beetroot smoothie. Sometimes I even get wild and toss in banana and Greek yogurt. Next, I walk. Nothing Olympic, just 15 minutes of showing the neighborhood I'm back in action. Then it's egg time, baby. 2 golden yolks and a mountain of kale that makes me feel like I'm starring in a health documentary. And let's not forget the protein. I add a shake or a spoonful of cottage cheese like it's my secret weapon, because it is. That leucine wakes up my muscles like an alarm clock they can't snooze. By this point, my body's like, oh, we're doing this today? Yes, we are, and you better believe we're doing it again tomorrow. But let's be real. None of this would matter if I still felt that low, lingering soreness. You know the kind. Not workout sore. Not I lifted too many groceries sore. Just that quiet, nagging ache that hangs out in the background like a nosy neighbor. That's inflammation. And no, I'm not talking about dramatic swelling. I'm talking about chronic, low-level inflammation that turns your muscles into sleepy, grumpy blobs, even when you've done everything right. It's the sneaky villain in this story. But I wasn't going down without a fight. And turns out I didn't need a prescription, just plants. Specifically, the kind that looks like it came from a farmer's market curated by a nutritionist with a PhD in kale. I leaned hard into leafy greens. Not because I suddenly became a salad influencer, but because the science was too good to ignore. Greens are full of polyphenols, chlorophyll, magnesium, the kind of stuff that tells inflammation you're not welcome here. I read about a study. Yeah, I'm reading studies now like I'm prepping for a TED Talk, where people added kale and mustard greens to their meals and actually lowered their inflammation markers in just a few weeks. A few weeks! That's faster than my online returns ever process. Now, I don't just eat greens because they're good for me. I eat them because they help me move. They help me stand. They help me say yes when my grandkids ask if I want to come outside and play tag instead of saying, maybe later, sweetie. Which, let's be honest, usually means never. And that's the whole point of this leg comeback story. I wasn't trying to compete in a triathlon. I just wanted to stop bracing myself before sitting down. To go for walks without feeling like I needed an ambulance on standby. To garden without treating the watering can like it weighs 200 pounds. And slowly but surely, it started happening. Not because I discovered some ancient secret or magic superfood, but because I gave my body the things it had been begging for. Real food, good timing, a little movement, and a whole lot of patience. And now, for the first time in a long time, I feel like my legs are actually mine again. I used to think getting older meant getting weaker. But once I started feeding my body the right signals, eggs, beets, protein, leafy greens, everything changed. My legs felt stronger, my brain sharper, and I didn't need a gym membership or magic pill. Just breakfast, movement, and consistency. Now I stand up without hesitation, walk with confidence, and even dance with my grandkids. It's not about reversing time. It's about showing up for myself today so tomorrow feels better. If this gave you hope or a plan, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and share this with someone who needs it.